Today I prepare a simple but tasty traditional Pandoro recipe. My name is Stefano, welcome to my channel. Over the past week I've tried several Pandoro recipes from different pastry chefs. The one I'm showing you today is by Oscar Pagani and I will tell you at the end of the video why I choose this one. But let's start with the first dough. Pour 330 grams of high protein flour into the bowl of the mixer. Add 100 grams liquid sourdough. As usual, it must be fit and fed 3 times. If you want to know how, link in description. And run the mixer with the leaf attachment at low speed. Meantime, whisk 233 grams of whole eggs and pour 2/3 into the mixer bowl. Begin to form the mass before pouring more eggs slowly. This is a fundamental operation, pay attention. Create the gluten mesh before continuing with other ingredients. Substitute the leaf for the hook attachment before starting to insert 100 grams of sugar a little at a time and let the dough absorb it. At this time add 100 grams of soft butter in 3 steps and always waiting for the dough to absorb the butter completely before adding more. When the dough has absorbed all the butter and is dry and elastic, evacuate into the workbench, checking the temperature, which ideally should be around 24 to 26 degrees Celsius. Make a series of stretch and fold and place the dough in a tall glazed container. Mark the starting point because we will have to wait for it to triple in the next 12-18 hours. And that's my first dough triple after 12 hours. I cool it slightly in the fridge just for the time to prepare the butter emulsion. Add 100 grams soft butter, 50 grams icing sugar, 16 grams honey. In the original recipe is not foreseen, but I personally added 30 grams of aromatic mix. If you want to know how to do it, link in description. Begin to whisk and then pour in 33 grams white chocolate and 16 grams cocoa butter melted in the microwave and at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Once the emulsion is fluffy and whipped, pour into a separate container. It is not necessary to wash the bowl because now we are going to insert all the first lightly cooled dough, 66 grams high protein flour, 6 grams malt. Operate the mixer with the hook attachment at low speed for the time to form the gluten mesh. Add 5 grams salt and let it absorb before adding 66 grams egg yolk in 3 steps and always letting it absorb well before adding more. Then move on to the last ingredients, the butter emulsion, that will be added in 4 times, applying the same concept as always. Absorb well before adding more. When finished, the dough must be smooth, dry and elastic. Here too, the final temperature must be around 24-26 degrees Celsius. If during the mixing process it goes over 26 degrees, rest in the refrigerator for 20 minutes to cool. Be careful not to overheat the dough. Remove the mass on a working table, give a series of stretch and fold and let it sit for 1 hour. After this time, pirlare pandoro, which means shaping, in this way, almost by screwing the dough on itself to obtain the classic dome. Place the dome inside a previously buttered Pandoro mold. The lower side of the dome should be placed on the bottom of the mold slightly to the side to avoid unwanted air bubbles. Let it rise at a temperature of around 26-28 degrees Celsius, possibly in a closed environment, up to 1 cm of reaching the edge of the mold. In my case, it took 6 hours. Preheat the oven at 150 degrees Celsius, then cook for about 50 minutes or until you have a core temperature of something between 94 to 96 degrees Celsius. Remove from the oven and leave to cool for 30 minutes before turning it over and let it rest for additional 6 hours. Remove the mold. Obviously, it was a more complicated operation. I made several tests by greasing the mold first with butter and sugar, then with butter and flour, and the last one, this one, only with butter. But in all cases, it was not easy. I bought this mold online, which is an anodized aluminum mold. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a non-stick one that probably will work better. Sprinkle with icing sugar and pack in a large food bag. Then seal and store in a dry place for at least 2 days if you can, before consuming. And now comes the fun part. Open the bag, add 2 nice spoonfuls of icing sugar, close and skim well so as to distribute evenly in every corner of Pandoro. Finally, it's time to cut. Not bad, isn't it? And why I did prefer this recipe? Because I found Oscar Pagani recipe the simplest to make, but which gave me an excellent result, like almost all the recipes from him. And that's all for today's video. If you find it useful, click like, possibly consider subscribing, and I catch you guys in the next episode.